Michael, you're on the line with JMike and Johnny. How you doing?
Great. Greetings, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Great. How you doing?
Awesome.
So
Did you have a choice between the two? Did you have a choice between the two?
Between the two subjects you wanted to talk about, the argument from reason and consciousness or the efficacy of religion for societal well-being. I want the second one. Let's do the second one. The efficacy of religion for societal well-being, host's choice. Okay, give it to me.
Okay, I was actually hoping to get JMike on the first one, but I'll go off the fly on the second one. I really didn't prepare for that one, but
Then why did you ask us if we wanted to do it? I had somebody said, "Do you want the green bandana or the yellow bandana?"
Like,
I want the green
why did
one.
you choose that?
Yeah, I wanted you to have the yellow one, so have the yellow one. Thanks a lot. Anyway, it's all right, Mike. It's all right.
All right. Well, we'll go along with Johnny.
You can call next week and give us the first one, but go on.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. You can call in anytime.
Because it's kind of a general topic, it'll be more of a discussion. So I guess broadly, my argument would be that religion provides a sound basis for many people to overcome their shortcomings. I guess we could start there.
Okay, let's be more specific. How does religion do that? Yeah.
Okay, so let's use an example. Say we have a heroin addict, and they've been struggling it for years and years, and it's destroying their life. And they go to an AA meeting, and their higher power directs them to overcome that horrible addiction. And we could render thousands of examples of how religion has helped people that might not be, say, as actualized as you guys are or other people. And so my argument would be that in that sense, religion, has a very positive efficacy for society as a whole.
Mike, I like that example. All right. And I think that what you've got here is applesauce in the shit. Okay.
Okay.
We don't dispute that a belief in something greater than ourselves, and that's a really vague phrase, that I'm not just this bag of meat that walks around and eats and does things for the lulz, is the only thing out there. But I think that what you've got with folks in AA or in different drug treatment organizations are, when they talk about a higher power, sure, for some people that's going to be the Lord Jesus Christ. For some, that's going to be Vishnu. For some, that's going to be Allah, or whatever, Ahura Mazda. And for others, it's going to be something bigger than themselves: family, friends, helping the helpless, helping the human race, helping animals, whatever it might be. Are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? Are you what is your particular stripe of theist, Mike?
Well, I would label myself an agnostic theist.
Okay.
A theist at group level,
Hey, Mike, are you on speaker?
Yeah. Mike, you sound like you're in a barrel going over Niagara Falls.
I'm sorry. I'm using my computer, so I'll try to get
exactly what it sounds like.
Okay. All right. Now you're better. So just in short, I'm not going to grill you on your doctrine, but would you call yourself a Christian, or are you some kind of generic theist? Do you believe that there's a God out there? Or are you Christian, or what?
I consider myself to be a Christian. Yes.
Cool. All right. So let's say you've got a Hindu person going to AA. Right. And Krishna or Vishnu or Brahma or one of the many thousands of gods are out there. And through this particular person's faith in this God concept, that gets them through the addiction. That and hard work and community support and taking decisive actions to stay away from drugs and alcohol, and maybe dedicating their lives to something that keeps them busy and all that. Does it matter if their religion is actually true? for their religion to be. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that would be my argument. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It doesn't matter if it's Vishnu, or Christ or Buddha or any other religious concept. My argument would just be that because those religions have at their core, very positive ways to approach society, that in general, I'd say that religion has a positive effect.
Okay, Mike, I would agree that there is some applesauce in the shit, or shit in the applesauce. There are some positive things. Help the poor, help the needy, treat people with respect, peace and love, community connectedness. However, we've also got punish apostates. We've got women are second-class citizens. There are certain genders, and yours doesn't quite work for me, so I'm going to force you to be something that you're not because this here book says so, therefore tough nuts. Slavery from the peoples around you. Human sacrifice. When you're talking about religion, I think you're making a distinction between the religions that don't do human sacrifice and some of the earlier religions that do human sacrifice. Religions have some good things in them, but I don't think they're unique to religion. And where I was going with this is we're skeptical humanists. We care about the well-being of human beings, and not just human beings. I think all life. We care about all types of life. And we care about community and the society that we live in and improving it. And I would argue that the things that work in religion are not, Genghis and Vishnu and whoever whatever religions believe, these otherworldly beings. It's actually the humanness part of it. So what we've done is we've pulled all that stuff out, the good stuff, which is inherently humanist. It's not from them. It's something that we did the entire time because we see animals doing it in nature, animals sharing, animals having a sense of justice. It's hardwired. Some would say that it's hardwired because God put it there. But I think that it's there because societies function better when these traits are present, right? And so what if it's not the religion? What if it's just these aspects of compassion and humanness that are the things that are making society better? Do you follow me?
No, exactly. I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
But remember, my argument is not whether any particular religion is true or if it has false beliefs or other immoral tenets. Like you might point to the Old Testament rather than focus on what
you're saying. Like as long basically the criterion here is as long as it has some positive aspect on someone's well-being. But I worry about that in the sense of that might not be the case, because I know plenty of people who are believers now and non-believers that have a immense fear of going to Jahannam or hell, right? And spending their entire eternity there. And so I don't know on one side of the coin where we can say this has this well-being part it's going to affect my well-being in a positive way, and then ignore the other things with that could not do that. And it seems the better way to do that, from my perspective, is to actually care about truth and minimizing falsities, right? So that to me seems to be better, because then, I mean, I don't know if it's easy for somebody to attach themselves to the positive things and ignore the the shit in the applesauce, so to speak, as Johnny so elegantly puts it.
It's not my phrase. I think it was Tracy Harris. I think it was Tracy Harris. Might have been Matt. I don't know.
It's a great phrase, whatever it is. But I don't. It seems that just you're ignoring an entire component there to what could actually be the opposite, right? There's people I know that it does not help their well-being. It makes them, freaking out, staying up at night, having nightmares about hell and stuff like that. And so,
Mike and JMike, I've got friends that are religious. Talk about them all the time, Patrick. That are religious and they're good people, right? They care about people. I got friends that are like super religious and they're good people, right? And we disagree on a lot of stuff, and they care about those qualities. But where we differ is the other stuff, right? They're not friends of they're friends of mine because they meet all these categories. But there are people who are believers that are, I won't talk to you if you don't live this certain way. You're no son of mine. And this is not my case. My father's fine. Happy Father's Day, everyone out there. But there are people who are terrible to their children, who are terrible to their neighbors. There are people who engage in violent activities in the name of religion. There are people who do a lot of terrible things from a humanist perspective based upon their religion. And the problem also is there doesn't seem to really be a way of improving that when you have a religious mindset. It's in this here book. Like I said, it's in this book, and I got to do these things. Where's the course correction when we find out in society that this little rule here, this one's actually deleterious to the well-being of mankind? Well, I can't change it, or I have to do a little song and dance to get around it. Slavery, subjugation of women, all this kind of stuff. We don't need the baggage. We can just take the items from our carry-ons, and we can just toss the checked luggage away and move forward, as long as we're motivated by the best stuff in society. I just don't see the need for it. And frankly, there's some, I think it was Jimmy Snow said this, that trying to reform religion, it hasn't worked in 10,000 years. Maybe let's just toss the whole thing, because I don't have another 10,000 years to wait for people to be living in peace and harmony. Maybe religion got us to a certain point, and ultimately it's a dead end. And all it really does now is, in large part, create conflict amongst us. Let's try to transcend these tiny views of what goodness is and expand it to understand that it really involves humanness and compassion and cooperation. That's my thought, Mike. I don't know. Any last thoughts?
Sure. I mean, you said a lot there, and I could push back on a lot of it. I could talk about, meta-analysis that religion, people that have religion thrive better in society. And personally, there are studies that would actually prove that statistically.
I would cite the societies that are entirely atheist, like Denmark, Norway, and Japan, and look at their rape rates, right? And look at all these types of societal health factors that are actually the opposite, because a lot of those studies take really weird, arbitrary assessments of intrinsic religiosity and things that I don't know how you could even ever assess how somebody is actually acting the way, as opposed to just their testimony, which seems to be the fault of a lot of theism or religion in the case, is that they put testimony on this pedestal like it has some value outside the claim itself. But so I don't think I could buy into that.
Yeah, JMike, and I would add on top of that, again, when we're talking about theists or people who believe in some stuff, they thrive in society. Okay, what is it again? Until fairly recently, there was no secular humanist community. They benefit from societal connections. I think it's the connections and the service that is what those groups are benefiting from. It's not from whatever sky daddy they believe in. It's from the community that they benefit from. It's from the notice of the feeling of well-being, the fact that they're not alone. For a long time in human history, atheists were out there. They were the outsiders, right? They had to keep quiet. And then after a while, they were the weirdo philosophers who are flirting with atheism. And then they become the sort of aggressive opponents to theism. And then we have internet atheism, where it's a whole bunch of trolls. And then it becomes a little better because more people are joining. And there is a movement of secular humanism. There is a movement of atheists who care about community and well-being and improving society, not just dunking on theists. And as that community grows, we don't have to shove any dogma on anybody. We can just grow together for societal benefit, for individual flourishment and societal benefit. And maybe you'll see that those societies that embrace that concept of societal growth, maybe they grow even faster. Time is going to tell. And I think I've said this before, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. The information's out there. The arguments for believing in God have problems. I'm being very nice. They have problems. They're not slam dunks like some people think they are, and some of them are just terrible. So that's where I think we're at, and I think that as more atheists come out, as this becomes a viable option for existing, you'll see those numbers change. I might be wrong. And then someone can go dunk on me somewhere that I was wrong. Oh, well. But Mike, I liked your call and I liked your tone, Michael. And so I want you to call back and talk about the argument from reason and consciousness another week. Will you do that? Will you promise me?
Oh, of course, it'd be my pleasure.
Thanks, dude.
What?
You take, what's that? Go ahead.
Closing statement.
Don't preach. Papa, don't preach. What do you got? I know you're not. Go ahead. What you got?
First, I would say, first off, the problem is humanity is not living out the religion as the founders of the religion presented it. And that would be the first thing I would say. And then I would go back to there are going to be people that aren't actualized that that need, even if it's a false concept, they might need that to pull them out of wherever they're at. I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think secular humanism, no matter how developed it is, and even if it becomes more prevalent in our society, because it doesn't have absolutes, it doesn't have objective values per se. But
nothing
does.
Yeah. That the is-ought gap, or you deriving normative conclusions from purely descriptive premises, is a problem that everybody has. Theists, it's even worse because it's just a status of obedience, which confuses morality and authority, and that's not what we mean by what you ought or should have done.
Let me present it this way. I would say that secular humanism is going to have a hard time presenting unconditional love as foundational in a logical manner.
Yeah, Mike,
it'll do a much better job than Christianity's with their version of unconditional love.
There's no unconditional love. There's no unconditional love in Christianity. It's my way or the.
It's literally
not even the
conditional. Yeah, it's
not even the
conditional.
Highway. Yeah.
It's the definition of conditional.
It's more conditional than I could even try to make it. I have a dog. I can say, Vinny, I'll kill you if you don't come here right now. And that's just one death, right? I can't make him burn forever and ever and ever. All right. No,
or tell them in a flowery poem or parable about it so they don't fully know what you mean, Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Mike, good call. I hear you. I'm going to let you go. Okay. And I want to say one last thing, and I'm just going to just drop you here. Much appreciated. You take care.
Yeah. Great. Good call. That's a good conversation.
There's something that Mike hit on, and I didn't want to do it with Mike on the line, because I know he wants you call back.
There's
and
too many mics, Johnny.
There's too many mics. Too many mics. P-Lander Z has a song called Too Many Mics. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Because he's from Japan. Every time he met somebody, his name was Mike. So he wrote a song about it. But there's an idea that the other Mike, not you, Mike, and not P-Lander Z's Mike, said that some people aren't actualized enough. And I don't think Mike meant this in a pejorative way or in a condescending way. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that some people are too simple or some people are too whatever, that they need fairy tales. They need
healing crystals.
Healing crystals, Chrysicola. Shout out to Chrysicola. I think that everyone can be reached. I mean, there are some people who may need the force of law to keep them in check. Maybe not. I don't know. But I don't think you need to lie to people to get them to play nice, or at least to play fair. And I don't think anyone is beyond salvation, so to speak. So I reject that concept. I've actually had that conversation before. Why are you taking people's religion away? Because they need that. They're not as smart as you are. And I said, thank you for saying that I'm smart to begin with. But no, that's crap. I'm no smarter than anybody else. Well, some people maybe. But they've been fed something and they feel dependent upon it. But if they had never been exposed to that, or if you help them find their own way out, they're not going to turn into rapists and murderers, right? There are other reasons to live a cooperative, compassionate life besides in eternal punishment. if only you don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
If only you don't want to see children abused. If only because you want to fight for you want to be on the side of good stuff. I reject that concept.
Yeah, there's independent reasons for and that's a problem for theism. If we can obtain other reasons for that or beyond that, then there's no need for the God.
Yeah.